What is up, y'all? Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to learn more about reps in reserve, as this is probably the single most neglected topic when it comes to the fitness community because it's not flashy. It's not flashy at all, but ever since I started to implement it into my fitness, into my workouts, I have seen just a lot more progression when it comes to hitting weight, a lot more progression when it comes to my aesthetics, and also feeling a lot healthier overall. So take some notes, use this information, and also it's information that you can share with other people who definitely don't know it, because I promise you people do not know this topic, so you can kind of flex some fitness knowledge by actually being able to understand it. It's going to be a lot shorter today, or in this video, I guess, but I just want you to be able to understand this topic. And again, ask me any questions if you have any when it comes to this topic, as I love it a lot. So reps in reserve. Reps in reserve can be known as reps left in the tank. And this just protects you from always training until failure, because the thing is that we don't want to always train until failure. And that is one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to the fitness world. Because trust me, I know on social media, it looks a lot cooler when someone's always training till failure, or when they put like one of those captions where it's, your training should look like this. And then it's like a video of them going crazy, like all, eyeballs popping out the skull and everything, if you want to look like this. And then they do them like looking all jacked. Of course, yes, training till failure is important, but they're not training until failure all the time. That's just for the social media clicks. And I'm here to tell you the truth, is that reps in reserve is such a valuable topic that you really should be using in your training. So the thing is, this is how it should be laid out, is that every single week of a mesocycle, the training should get closer to failure. So, which you can also think of this as the training should get more intense as you go through a mesocycle. Now, this is an easy way to give you an example. Let's say in week 1, you're hitting a 135-pound bench press for 10 reps with 3 reps in reserve, meaning that if you went all the way to failure, you would have been able to hit 13. Of course, we're not going to be able to say for sure if we know what our 3 reps in reserve is, but you can at least get a decent feel for what it is. Now, if we're using reps in reserve correctly, let's say we hit that 135 for 10, 3 reps in reserve, then week 2, we should be hitting 135 pounds for 11 reps with 2 reps in reserve. This is super valuable because then week 3, you're going to be able to hit 135 pounds for 12 reps with 1 rep in reserve. Week 4, 135 pounds for 13 reps, 0 reps in reserve. Now, the beauty behind this topic or this concept in general is that in this example, I used hitting 135 pounds every single week, but most likely if you're training correctly and if you're using this method, the amount of weight that you hit by week should also be able to go up. So let's just say week 1, you hit the 135 pounds for 10 reps, week 2, 135 for 11 reps, but week 3, because you're training in the correct manner and you're slowly allowing yourself to get stronger, but also recover, maybe you're going to hit 140 pounds for that 12 reps and then 145 pounds for 13 reps. And you wouldn't have been able to do that if you were just going till failure from the beginning, because you would be so fatigued that your muscles wouldn't recover and actually grow. Now, I hope that makes a lot of sense. I know it's probably a little bit confusing. Again, ask me any questions if you have any. But basically what this is saying is to not always train till failure and to build up to that failure. You'll notice that in my training programs, they're 4-week phases. And in week 1, that's when you're going to be training the furthest from failure. Week 4, all the way till failure. So that week 4, you get hungry for it, right? You look forward to it. And that's the psychological mind game that comes with it too, which is what I personally love and I hope you can fall in love with as well. And of course, I put on this last bullet point because I don't want to just override and not say this, that reps in reserve is extremely subjective, meaning that it really is up to your own interpretation. You're not going to, let's say you hit that 10 reps and you think it's 3 reps in reserve. That could have been 4 reps in reserve. That could have been 2 reps in reserve. You really don't know. But if you're at least being intentional about trying to apply this into your fitness regimen every single week, you're going to see the benefits. And I just want to talk about this graph right here because it should make a lot of sense to you. And it's why we use reps in reserve. So I want you to see this difference here. When you go from 3 to 0 reps in reserve, of course, when you hit 0 reps in reserve, you are getting a little bit more muscle growth compared to 3 reps in reserve. But look at that fatigue difference. You build up so much more fatigue when you hit 0 reps in reserve that it's just not worth it in the long term. Like this graph, I liked it a lot, where it says you get about, let's just say 2.5% muscle growth when you go till 0 reps in reserve, but then you get 6% muscle fatigue when you go till failure as well, compared to 1.4% muscle growth when you have about 1 rep in reserve to 2.5% fatigue when you do that 1 rep in reserve. I hope that makes a lot of sense. And I hope that these graphs kind of lay it out for you to understand why you're not going until failure all the time. And kind of to sum it up, right? From 3 to 0 reps in reserve, there is a difference in growth, but it's not substantial. From 3 to 0 reps in reserve, there's a substantial amount of fatigue buildup, which is why in the long run, it's not worth it. And it's why you'll see someone, when you hit a plateau, it's most likely because you just train till failure all the time, right? It's most likely because from the start till when you hit that plateau, you were just trying to hit as many reps as you could every single week, just killing yourself in the gym. And this is what causes these plateaus. So I hope this made a lot of sense. Again, this topic is extremely neglected in the fitness world, and I wanted to give my 2 cents on it and just be able to allow you to understand it, because it was a complete game changer for me, especially as I became more experienced in the gym. And as you become more experienced, it'll be even more and more important that you know this information and you actually apply it. So again, ask me any questions if you have any, please. I love talking about this topic. And thank you again for taking the time to learn about reps in reserve, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.